So sometimes it's not enough to be beautiful, clever, talented, interesting, and successful. No, we must be all these things, but effortlessly. Oh, your hair looks nice today. Oh, I woke up like this. I love your outfit. Oh, I've had it for ages. It's the only thing I had clean. Well done on the test. Oh, I forgot to revise. Oh, your makeup looks lovely today. Oh, thank you, but I'm not wearing any. So you might have noticed that I took a little social media break that was extended. It wasn't meant to go on for quite as long as it did, but I feel like I got a lot from it. I got a lot from it. But clearly being able to talk wasn't one of those things. But I learned about something that I wish I'd learned about a long, long time ago, and that is effortless perfectionism. You see, social media is the perfect breeding ground for effortless perfectionism, which, when I look back across my life, is certainly something I've contended with all the time. It is like a plague, and I'm sure there's many of us out there. And this video is for you, all of you people who resonate with what I'm about to say. So the psychologist Weiler described effortless perfectionism as a social environment described by the expectation that one would be smart, accomplished, fit, beautiful, and popular, and that this would happen without visible effort. So there are certain qualities that we value in our fellow human being, but if these qualities are innate and come naturally to that person, then we see that as being worth more valuable, almost pure and good. So we must be smart, but naturally so, and beautiful, but not look as though we're trying, and popular, but not act like we want to be liked, and fit, but not too fit. We have created a culture where being seen to try makes us feel vulnerable, because we expose the idea that we are not a natural at whatever it is that we are trying to achieve. But everything takes practice, and everyone has room to improve, but there is still there's a cloud of shame around being seen to try. And I feel like I see this particularly in beauty. So I remember being really embarrassed being seen to put on makeup, because I felt like it was damaging the illusion that I wanted to create, that's just how I naturally looked. And obviously that's not how I naturally looked, but it made me feel like exposed, and I didn't like it. And I feel like there's a lot of sort of beauty treatment, body treatment type things which are sort of shrouded in secrecy and shame when they shouldn't be. Things like body hair removal, you know, it's like it's done in secret so that you can protect the illusion that that is just who you are and what you are, for some reason. It sometimes seems like struggle is only valued in retrospect. So like in the classic underdog story, you value the struggle and you are inspired by the struggle because you know it pays off. You already know that it's going to pay off. When if someone's story is still in progress and they are struggling, it's not seen as a positive thing. But I was reading a, what is it called? Like a journal? A psychology journal? A paper. I was reading a paper on effortless perfectionism, which I will link in the description if you are interested in reading it, because it is an interesting read. And it says that while struggle is a proxy of success in many Eastern cultures, in American culture it is seen as an indication of lower intelligence or lower ability, while mastery with ease indicates natural ability or talent. I must also apologize for going nasal quite a lot, but I am quite ill. I am sort of cold and flu-y and all that type of thing, so apologies, but we shall persevere. And social media is the perfect breeding ground for this way of thinking, because we only ever share the outcomes. Like, I'm only sharing this video. I'm not sharing the planning. I'm not sharing, you know, me getting anxious about making the thing in the first place. I'm not sharing me setting the camera up or tidying the background or doing my makeup, doing my hair, whatever it was. It's just a snapshot that you're getting. And you will never, ever be able to tell a full story in a snapshot, whether that's a video, an article, a blog post, an Instagram picture, whatever it is. It's always just going to be part of the story. And then there's the fact that everything we're seeing is just an edited version. So You know, you've got Photoshop pictures, you've got the fact that maybe, 300 pictures were taken and only one got chosen. In a video like this, I'm going to be editing out all of the coughing and phlegm noises you'll be very glad to hear, or rather, you'll be glad to not hear those sounds. So you are only ever witnessing a fragment of what's going on. You are being presented something. It's a bit like social media is an opportunity to present our lives as art, and that usually means presenting a finished piece. And this is what I personally find so difficult about social media, because you can't be entirely honest in a snapshot because it's only ever part of the story. So then you feel like you have to kind of counterbalance it with something, because you don't want to go around talking about how amazing a life is all the time when it's not always amazing. But then I'm also incredibly lucky, and I don't think that I should use platforms to complain, or anyone should use platforms purely to complain. So, you're kind of stuck between not giving the full picture, or maybe giving too much of a picture that people don't want to see. And that is why I really struggle with social media. You may have noticed that I struggle with social media. It's not that I'm not trying, it's just that I can't figure out how to act in a way that aligns with what doesn't make me feel uneasy, I guess. I'm still working on it, but here's my Instagram anyway, if you want to see one photo every 3 months or something. So if you have been taught to value effortless perfectionism, and you hold yourself to that standard, then as soon as you start to try to achieve something, you have already failed, because you have admitted that it did not come naturally to you. Nothing is effortless, because at the very least you have to show up, whether that's a relationship or school or a business, whatever it is, you have to put in effort. And the idea that you can succeed effortlessly is toxic. Well, I tell you, I see it all the time in my students. That's the bit that worries me the most. So I have a lot of very bright students, and often they succeed tremendously in one area, and they're used to being praised and finding things really easy, and then they'll come to do music and they'll have to put in a bit more effort than they're used to. But because they've been taught or have come to understand on some level that ease, finding things easy, is worth more than struggle, they tend to lean away from it and maybe quit, or just not value the struggle because they're so used to valuing ease. So I was thinking a lot about social media and effortless perfectionism, and I came to the conclusion that, we cannot change the world around us overnight. We cannot change social media overnight. But the one thing we can do is change how we interpret the things we see. So I've come up with 2 strategies for anyone who feels like effortless perfectionism, particularly with social media, is something that inhibits their progress in one area or another. So the first one is just generally social media, consume less and question more. So social media is designed in such a way that we keep on scrolling, we keep on clicking, it wants to keep us there. It wants us to stay distracted, and this means that our experience with social media is often just a barrage of content, just pictures and words flying at your face, and you don't really have time to stop and question anything. So what I want you to do is, if you see a picture or a video or article, whatever it is, that you think looks effortlessly perfect, ask yourself, what was the journey? What led that piece of media to come to exist? So let's say, for example, you are scrolling through Instagram and you come across a fitness model and you think, oh, she's beautiful, and she's beautiful. In addition to thinking, oh, isn't she beautiful? Think about how hard she must have to work to maintain her physique. Think about how even fitness models will feel self-conscious. Think about how, maybe in her mind, her physique is so tied to her followers that if she changed how she looked, she would worry that she would lose some of her support. Think about how the camera was set up, how long it took her to do her makeup and get her hair done. And we're not taking anything from her. We're not trying to bring her down in any way. We're just trying to better understand her journey. And understanding other people's journeys is a huge part of really appreciating our own. If we can train ourselves to look behind the snapshot and better understand what it took to get that snapshot to exist, then we stop seeing just this one moment, this snapshot, and we start really understanding sort of the roots of it and how deep it can go. If we understand the journey that it took to get there, then we can appreciate that we are all trying, and that trying is not an admission of failure in any respect. And the second strategy I'd like to put forward to you is by a psychologist called Dweck, who had a mindset theory, Dweck's mindset theory, and he talks about, or she, I assumed male, that was wrong of me, wasn't it? And they talked about a fixed mindset, which involves thinking that qualities, virtues and otherwise, are innate and natural and you're born with them. And then there is a growth mindset, and these are people who believe that their qualities come from effort and experience. So Dweck found that individuals who had a fixed mindset abided by 3 key rules, and these are eerie for me because I feel like these sum me up, and I wish they didn't, but they do. So number 1, look smart at all times and at all costs. 2, intelligence should come without effort. And 3, hide mistakes and conceal deficiencies. Did that resonate with you? Because it resonates with me. Until very recently, and sometimes still now, I am the person who gets frustrated when I can't do something, because I am the intelligence should come without effort person. As soon as I have to put in effort, I feel frustrated because I feel like it should just come naturally to me. And most things don't. They just don't. I just stick to the things I'm good at, and that's how I've lived my life up until this point. So if you find yourself with a fixed mindset, try and adopt a growth mindset. And the way I would suggest doing this is by trying to fully appreciate how the life you lead makes you the person that you are, because those two things are interlinked, and it's very easy to think of yourself as this set person just moving along life, but you are being influenced by life, you are adapting to things, you are changing, you're becoming more resilient. If something bad happens, you are a consequence of your environment, your efforts, and your experiences. And I think the only way to properly acknowledge that is to actually spend time thinking about it and to acknowledge it and consider those facts. Because the thing is, it's not a weakness to have room to improve. It's a human thing, and it is the thing to strive for. It's the reason to wake up tomorrow, you know? It's really important. So I really hope that someone found that useful, because it's one of those things I wish that I understood better earlier, because it has, when I think back, it's definitely plagued me somewhat. So I hope that was useful. If there's anyone you think might find it useful, please share this video with them, because you know, if we spread awareness, then that's gonna be better for people, and it's better for views. Genuinely though, I think it's a really unhelpful thought pattern, and it's one that I see in myself, I see in a lot of my friends, I see in the children I teach, and potentially because of what I read about Eastern values valuing struggle and the West not so much, I think it could be a lot more widespread than we think. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had a lovely winter season, whatever that involved for you. And I will see you in my next video very soon. I'll see you later.
Roll up, let me embed a story that you'll never forget. A drip, drip, drowning in debt now. You can't buy your way out. And I heard you find it difficult to cope. Well, hereby this bottle full of hope and limited supply, short